Hello and welcome back to Talon 101. Today we're gonna talk about up back 2. This wasn't the input before for the move. The input used to be back 2. Again, you can still do the move from simply back 2, but there was never an up back 2. And that's big because now in RFF you can like step towards the left, and from crouching you can panic out with up back 2 to sidestep towards the left. That's a huge quality of life change for Hwoarang. Question is, did it miss something from getting this input? So again, let's look at the frame data. This is an I-13 move that will start up from 13 to 15. So there's a high chance this move can come out at 14 or 15. See, there it came out 14. And it is homing. As you can see, it has the blue streaks. So like another reason why you can potentially press this move. And of course, if it does hit, it's plus 15 kg. Plus 15 kg because, you know, the opponent spins. So if the opponent does attempt to like do anything, absolutely anything. Let's say they try to do a jab, they're gonna try to like panic out, right? You hit them with up back 2, DF4 lock, or my personal favorite, JFSR. Like that'll pretty much always go in. But your lows still can be low parried in this situation. So if we tell the opposing Hwoarang to low parry like so, if I hit them with a 50-50 of JFSR and down 3-4 after hitting them with back 2, I can potentially get low parry. Because that's realistic timing. But as you saw earlier, if you do it immediately, you should be fine. But if you wait a second, right, then yeah, you'll lose. Now, if this move does get blocked, you are safe, right? You're completely safe at -8. So panic option that will not pretty much punish you for panicking out compared to, let's say, back 1. So the other thing is that since it can be done in RFF and crouching, it does change a good number of scenarios. So down back 3 was covered in this channel, and I didn't mention a specific thing wherein you could do this move. So if you do get, let's say, down back 3 and hit, you could just up back 2. Of course, again, provided they're stepping, I believe, towards the right? It's homing, yeah, but only homing if like it's within the same area or like the hitbox range of the move. So this is something you can throw out. But of course, again, sidestep left, that's no dice. I mean, hey, another option to throw if they sidestep towards the right. And if you do it from, let's say, RFS2 and you're unsure, you're 100% unsure, you don't want to like bet on F1+2 or you don't want to bet on DF2, right? Even if these are really good mids to throw out at +5, you're like, I want to throw out a homing move. Oh, then just up back 2. And then you get your +16 and then just check them with JFSR. It's perfect because you can't obviously throw out, you know, your 22 frame black kite in this situation. You can only do that if like they're thinking about F1+2 and DF2 and, you know, all the other layers that are on top of it. So this could actually be part of like your layer 1 or layer 2 mix. And that's not just for RFS, right? You can still do it from like LFF. So that's like the handiness of the fact that it is homing and it can be done in like multiple states now. And of course, you can use this as, let's say, wall pressure as well. So say the opponent does decide to step once you're in RFF. Perfect. And you get a wall splat because none of your RFF moves would do the same. So let's say you do get a RFF down T+4. How are you going to splat them here? You can't do RFF DF4 because that means you're going to have to go into RFS to like do RFS 4 to like splat them, and you have to like risk that. You can't do RFS back 2. That's going to knock them down. Of course, that's still good wall pressure, but like if your aim is to wall splat, then you can't do that. You can't do DF4. That's just going to get you heat and force crouch. You can do RFF 2-3, but that can potentially get ducked right after RFF 2. But in this situation, there's a higher chance of it connecting. You can do RFF 4-4, but this needs to be counter hit, right? It's not natural compared to 2-3. You can also do 2-4-4, same dice. You could do this. Yeah, so you could do that. You could do RFF back 2, back 4. You can't do RFF back 3. It's going to counter hit launch if you're aiming for a splat again. F1+2 will not do that. Of course, F1+2 by itself, right? But of course, if you get F1+2 on counter hit here, then you can do something like this, which is great. But of course, you have to get F1+2 to counter hit first. So if like layer 1 straight up, you can't do F1+2. That's just like a check. So like there's no other move that would potentially splat that is fast enough in RFF. So that's where up back 2 comes in handy in situations like this, if the opponent either, let's say, attempts to jab punish out or like jab challenge out, right? So they attempt to jab punish out or jab challenge out, that's free. And then if they attempt to step to either side, I guess you're not gonna get the splat. What about if it's sidestep, right? Oh no, you do get the splat. Against, well, yeah, again, it's just like the crouching. This is my point. Like, you saw the title of this video. It does have missed potential, and this is 100% missed potential. One of, like, the missed potentials. I guess the second missed potential, right? The first one was the crouching. The second one is, I guess, the wall splat. But it did wall splat there after RFF back 2. I guess it's just pretty inconsistent to, like, get that side since he's pretty far. Yeah, even if you, like, keep it really close with RFF down 3+4, not all the time. I mean, again, you're still going to be plus 15. That's really good compared to, let's say, something like an RFF back 2 on hit. Like, it's hard to ignore those frames because you're pretty much guaranteed, in quotation marks, to, like, hit the opponent with another thing. So that's, like, another handy use it has, but of course, another gripe with, like, the potential of this move. So, like, it does come out at 13 to 15 frames, right? So the other thing is that, okay, I can use it as a punisher, or like I can start considering it as a punisher. You could consider it a punisher back in Tekken 7, but in 8, it's like, maybe I can do it more. So we're gonna have the opposing Hwoarang attempt to do certain unsafe moves. So if they do something that's like -14 on block, this will pretty much usually go in. Because as you can see, as soon as I inputted the move, it comes out at 14 rather than 13. So if it is -14, and you didn't want to do flashing trident, you didn't want to do a 4-3+4-4, you didn't want to deal with like the +7 pushback, and provided the move is close enough so that wherein up back 2 will connect, this is not a bad idea. However, if the opponent decides to do something else, let's say -13 low that does recover in crouching, then you'll never punch that. Of course, and it's also coming out at 14 frames. It's not coming out at 13 frames. So, okay, what if it's a move that's -13 and recovers standing, right? That's probably the best thing for this move. No, it still comes out at 14 frames in order, like, this would have been great. Easily one of the best buffs Hwoarang could have received in Tekken 8, but it still starts off at 13 to 15 frames compared to LFS back 1 or back 1 that comes out at 15 frames flat. As you can see, 15 to 15 right over there compared to 13 to 15. This was a missed opportunity. So it's like, it's only for like -14 moves or higher at that point. But at that point, you do have better options like a 4-3+4-4. And of course, if it's launch punishable, you're not going to ignore EF2, right? And it's also short, so like it's only for like close options. So if we do one last, let's say a power crush, right? That's -14. Like Hwoarang's DF3-4 doesn't even reach it. It doesn't even reach it at all. So yeah, missed potential across the board, but it still has some handy uses here and there. It's just that this move could have been so much more for Hwoarang in Tekken 8. So much more. So if they do decide to buff the move, my only request is that this is 13 flat. That's all. You don't have to touch the range because it'll be a little bit unfair if it's hitting from far range. Like, just make it 13. That's it. Make it 13 frames. That's like the only wish I have for up back 2. But for now, even without it, like, you can still use it at the wall. You can still use it in open. And of course, if you're panicking out in RFF, whether like, let's say you're at 0 on block and you're unsure and I still want to like steal my turn, not like with doing it with backlash or RFF DF2+3, then simply throwing that out could be handy, including when you're in crouching, if you want to like avoid specific scenarios. So its use is, I guess, more situational. It still remains situational, but it's like there's more situations added to it now. It's just that it could have been better. Could have been better. So that is the lesson for today. Again, I've been Frontier, and thank you for watching.